Friends, when talking about Rabab and passing on the art of playing Rabab to our younger generation, how can we forget the teachers who have been working really hard to pass on this information to youngsters who are very much interested in learning folk instruments? One of those teachers is Adnan Haider. Welcome to our studios, Adnan.
You're welcome.
Adnan, aap Lok Virsa. Adnan, you are currently teaching Rabab in Lok Virsa, and a national competition occurred where you emerged as one of the winners. Firstly, please explain to us what Rabab is as an instrument, and then we will discuss about your career.
Rabab तो basically एक wood का piece है.
Rabab is basically a piece of wood. However, there are many melodies hidden behind this piece of wood. When played with technique, many phrases are revealed.
तो Rabab एक इसको हम dead instrument या इसको हम एक wood का piece.
So Rabab cannot be considered a dead instrument or a piece of wood. It is a live instrument. It is a friend because so many friends have given up the Rabab, but the Rabab hasn't left me. So no matter how much we praise the Rabab, it falls short.
तो हम जितना भी मतलब कि तारीफ करें तो कम है.
अच्छा, Rabab को अक्सर Okay, the Rabab is often customized by musicians to look pretty. They add small tasbeehs etc. to it. Why do they do that? छोटा सा कुछ ना तस्बीह लगाई होती है, तो वो क्यों करते हैं?
हर किसी का अपना अपना एक स्टाइल है कि कोई क्या पसंद करता है.
Everyone has their own style and distinguishable preference. Personally, I prefer a simple Rabab. I just have a string to hang it with, that's it. However, everyone else has their own preference and opinion. You can add designs to it to make it look pretty. Even my Rabab has something pretty on it. It's called a firoz. It's a special stone.
फिरोज़ा कहते हैं. एक स्पेशल स्टोन होता है, पत्थर होता है.
और आपने बताया था कि Okay, and you mentioned that a Rabab has 3 main strings and the rest are sympathetic wires. Are they used while playing or not?
ये इसको
पैदा करने के लिए यूज होती है.
इको के लिए यूज होते हैं.
They are used for echo. The dove, bum and zouk are the main. The rest are used for support. If the other strings were not present, the 3 main strings will not sound so beautiful and fulfilling.
उसमें रचा होना होता है. तो इसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए ये वाले बाकी तार यूज होते हैं.
Okay, Adnan, so we have heard a story about you where you receive a lot of obstacles and beating while learning the Rabab. And then you didn't have any Rabab earlier and you ended up inventing your own instrument. Where did that event initiate?
शौक तो बहुत बचपन से शौक था क्योंकि मज़ारों में जाके हम सुनते थे अच्छे अच्छे लोगों के.
Yes, I was inclined towards it since childhood because we used to listen to it in shrines. As a child, so I developed an inclination too. I was in class 2, I think, or 3. And we had a chair in our class in which we used to fill a notebook we used to write on it. So that's what was running through my head. I went to school with a screwdriver and I unassembled the piece of wood from the chair and brought it home. Then I broke some wire and took out each string and assembled it onto the piece of wood with screws. I used to play that as an instrument, but it sounded bitter. Then I was in class 7th or 8th. I used to visit a teacher, but without my parents' permission because if I told my parents, they wouldn't allow me. It was difficult. I used to pay my fees by telling my parents I am taking tuition for maths and physics. But in fact, I used to pay that to my music teacher. That was a difficult era for me. It was difficult to sit adjacent to a teacher because I was young and if someone caught me from home, I would have gotten a spanking my family found out after 4 to 5 years. Now, they don't stop me, but it was difficult to reach this stage.
पता चला फिर अभी तो खैर मना नहीं करते लेकिन बहुत मुश्किल से इस स्टेज तक.
Why did they restrict you? In our northern areas, it is a tradition to learn and play the Rabab.
हमारे यहाँ बस जो छोटे बच्चे होते हैं उसको ये.
Well, in our society, children are given just 2 options, to do medical or engineering. The art field is discouraged. There is an interest in the field of arts and there is a lot of talent too. Because when I graduated from NCA, we organized a show and discovered so much talent in young children that they can play instruments, sing, act.
इंस्ट्रूमेंट भी प्ले करते हैं, सिंगिंग भी करते
The actors are so immensely talented that even we cannot act like them or create plays like that. But our elders believe that you can only be two things in life, doctor or engineer. Nothing apart from that. Even when I began attending NCA, I had told my parents I was doing engineering in order to obtain fees.
You went to the National College of Arts to study engineering.
So I have reached this stage after overcoming many hurdles.
So, what was the name of your teacher who taught you?
पहले जब मैं
Well, earlier, when I started, it was Naimullah.
स्टार्ट
Parachanar. In Parachanar.
और एक दो टीचर और भी थे जिसको मैं
I had a few more teachers that I used to visit by giving my parents the excuse that I am going to learn maths or physics. After that, I moved to Peshawar and gained extensive learning from Bakar, Ataul. When I moved to Pindi, and I am still learning even today from Gulab Afridi. I still attend classes.
भी क्लासेस लेता रहता हूँ.
Just you see, we have different levels in classical music. For instance, graduation and master's level. Does Rabab also have similar levels of learning?
रुबाब के
Well, there is no such thing as having learned the Rabab completely. Even when you grew old, you're still learning because music is developing every single day. There is always something new to learn. There are so many rags that when you are done with one, there is another to learn, and so on, so forth. So we can never say that I have completed the Rabab or that I have gained a solid level in music. It's not possible every day. There is something new to learn.
लर्निंग होती रहती है.
So, मुझे हमेशा ये you see, Rabab is more popular in the mountainous areas. So, in such a strict area with supposedly harsh people, how has such a beautiful, sweet and soulful instrument originated?
असल में इस एरिया में होता था लेकिन लोगों की तवज्जो इतनी नहीं.
The Rabab was more often played in the mountain areas. When I play here, there are only a handful of people who belong to the mountains. I have just one student, she is Kashmiri. The rest are all Punjabi, Sindhi, Balochi, etc. People from every origin are interested in the Rabab because these days interest amongst learning the Rabab is at its peak. People from all over are interested in learning it. It is not limited to those of the mountains.
ऐसी बात नहीं है कि सिर्फ पहाड़ों का इंस्ट्रूमेंट, लेकिन आया इधर मेरे ख्याल से अब लोगों को पहचाना मिला.
It is a growing trend that we have observed. These days, in every song, there is a Rabab playing. Classes have become more common. Even girls are eager to learn.
Yes, the interest is increasing amongst women.
आपकी क्लास में जो Are you satisfied with the students in your class?
जी ज़रूर, क्योंकि
Yes, absolutely, because women are better learners than men. The mind of a woman, I believe, is more eager than that of a man's in terms of music. I believe, and within my students, my female student from Kashmir plays better than my male students, and she's also a better learner. There is another example of my student, she's also from Islamabad. She plays rags these days.
प्ले करते हैं उस पर रबाब.
Many of our traditional instruments are becoming extinct. There are less players and naturally less listeners too. But has there been a revival or a comeback of the Rabab all of a sudden, or was there no danger to this instrument from day one? इसको कभी कोई खतरा नहीं था.
ये तो हर एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट और हर एक सिंगर हर एक उसमें.
This is played in every region, every singer, everywhere. Sometimes it's at peak in the Western world and sometimes in the Eastern world. Sometimes folk. So it is continuing. It's not endangered, however. We can say that to some extent it is becoming less popular because mostly people are becoming more influenced by the West. And this is an issue we're facing, and maybe if the new generation gives rise to a few people who have keen interest in Eastern and classical, it can make a comeback.
इंटरेस्टेड तो वो दोबारा आ सकते तो.
अच्छा मैंने But we see that traditional instrument players can play any rhythm or melody on their instruments, even the Western melodies.
हाँ वो chords based है.
Western music is chord based. This is a sargam based. That's the difference, but the notes are the same, do, re, ma and sa, re, ga, ma. Only the language differs slightly. Apart from that, there isn't much difference. We have created the differences ourselves.
थोड़ी सी मुख्तलिफ है, बाकी तो हम डिफरेंस इतना नहीं, हमने खुद डिफरेंसेस में क्रिएट किया।
ठीक है, चलें। अदनान, प्लीज प्ले समथिंग फॉर अस अदनान।
ज़रूर। ये
Of course, this is by a very popular artist of our nashinas.
अफगानिस्तान के
अफगानिस्तान का सिंगर है जी।
Thank you so much for coming to our studios, Adnan.